I'm Jenny Carlson here with Kyle Fredrickson. We're in Manhattan, Kansas, where Kansas State has defeated Oklahoma State 48-14. And Kyle, we expected that K-State would be the better team than Oklahoma State. They are leading the Big 12 right now, a team that is definitely in consideration for that college football playoff. But the way this game went down, I think, is a little bit surprising. What stands out to you? Offense, defense, special teams, all of the above?
I mean, it's all of the above. And when I really look back at the game, OSU comes out so strong. 8 plays on the first drive, less than 3 minutes, and they've already got a touchdown. And I think everyone starts to think, okay, here's the offense that we've kind of come to know with these Cowboys. A good mix of the run and the pass. Dax Garman has the one nice deep ball to Tyreek Hill to really put him in position. But it seems like after that point, Kansas State was able to make some adjustments, and OSU never really had the opportunity like it had in that first drive. And as the game kind of progressed, it was just punt after punt and more of the same from what we've seen with this team. And has really kind of become shocking at this point that an OSU offense that was so powerful and known and branded as this high-flying system that, you plug in anyone and it seemed to work. Now it's pretty much unwatchable. So as the Cowboys search for that 6th win, it's going to be tough against a Texas team in a couple weeks. But at least we saw what Tyreek Hill looked like as the featured running back. I mean, did he impress you with the way he played today?
Definitely so. I mean, obviously he was needed to run a lot of plays out of that backfield. Desmond Rowland, not with the Cowboys, did not make the trip after his mother unfortunately passed away late in the week, so he was unavailable for the Cowboys tonight. So Tyreek Hill really in that feature back spot, over 100 yards, 102 yards tonight for the Cowboys, and he did look really fantastic on that first drive. 6 of the 8 plays he was involved with, and you might say that's a lot, but you know what? You got to use somebody, and he's so dynamic. But then, as you mentioned, things turned around. An 86-yard kickoff return that really kind of squashed the momentum, got the K-State fan base, one of the largest crowds that they've ever had here in Manhattan, got them right back into the game, and you just never really, you're kind of left wondering what could have been if that Oklahoma State defense comes out, gets a stop, maybe gets the ball back to the offense, they score again, and they're up 2 scores. It may feel a whole lot different, but we did never see that. And the offense, as you mentioned, unwatchable, and a lot of OSU fans out there disgruntled right now really about this, an offense finding itself in 2nd and 3rd and long situations, not really going anywhere if they don't have a first down, those first 2 plays of a 4-down situation. They're not going anywhere. A lot of people really upset about this right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that we've seen in the past few weeks on Twitter with people complaining about what's happened. But now it's reached its point, and it's gotten to a point where a lot of these fans are right in their assumptions of how this offense is being run and the changes that need to be made. But I asked Mike Gundy about that social media criticism after the game. He just called it a crash. He's a guy who's not going to pay attention to it. But you got to think it's a little bit tougher for a lot of these young guys who are constantly on their phones. I mean, it's the world we live in nowadays, for them to brush it off, and now they have a week off, which no doubt helps in their preparation for taking on Texas, but it's still not a lot of time to address all the concerns that this team has, and that includes the defensive side of the ball. Now remember, I mean, it's another game where OSU gives up 40-plus points. Glenn Spencer talked about that in post-game and how he really has to handle these guys in the right way, because if you're just going to bash a young team like this, they might not respond in the way that you want them to. So there's a little bit of give and take and how you work with those guys. And for those OSU fans who are disgruntled, like I said, another week of preparation has got to help, because if they don't win against Texas, the chances of getting into a bowl game are extremely slim.
Yeah, definitely so. Really a small margin for error at this point. And, you mentioned that defense, K-State with 421 yards, which really, for them, not terrible. Got some good pressure on Jake Waters. Didn't ever get him sacked or didn't get an official quarterback hurry. But a lot of times I think he was improvising. He's good at that. He made a lot of smart decisions. But I thought the pressure was decent, was average at least on Jake Waters, and didn't let Tyler Lockett get going crazy either, did the defense. But when your offense only manages 48 total yards after halftime, I mean, it's just too much for that defense to handle.
We lost a game to a better football team today. They made more plays than we did. We're not good enough on offense to overcome penalties, holding penalties, 2nd and 20, 1st and 20, and that's what happened to us after the first couple drives. And then we get sacked too much. So a combination of penalties and sacks set us back on offense. We had a good plan. had some schemes that gave us a chance to move the ball and score points. And then defensively, we're hanging in there. We gave up too many big plays. Late in the third quarter, we missed a few tackles. And then we had the roughing the passer right before halftime. So we have to give them credit. Obviously, they're a good football team, but we didn't play very well for the most part, just because we shoot ourselves in the foot with big mistakes. Kick it to them, let them return for a kickoff. I mean, everybody knows that you work all week on it, and don't give them up return yard. Don't give up return yards. We give up return yards for a touchdown. We worked our butt off for the first 5 minutes to get a 7-0 lead on the road, quiet the stadium, and turn around, and in 10 seconds we give them a return for a touchdown. So that's kind of the way it's gone for us this year. And
everything can be coached and addressed in a way to get your point across, but also in a way where we can't lose these kids, okay? And they got to realize that it's a responsibility of mine first to coach them better, and that I've got to take responsibility when we don't make certain plays and when I don't have them in the right spot. And it's collective accountability. We've said that from the start, and they've got to have enough in them for each other that they'll practice those things that you talked about for those next 2 weeks and just build on something.
The defensive game plan worked early really well. They want to put pressure on the quarterback. They have a really good game plan coming in, trying to run the ball to the quarterback as well as the running back. So, we kind of fell short of that there toward the end of the game, kind of let loose some plays, and missed some tackles and things like that. They executed when they need to, and they came up with the win.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but like I said, we gotta go out there and capitalize. And when we don't capitalize and they capitalize, it kills the team. We're gonna work extra hard this week. We work hard every week. We just got to come out on Saturdays and basically capitalize on drives.
Improving, whatever steps we have to take from a fundamental standpoint, from pass protection to quarterback reads to, just perimeter blocking, everything we can improve on, and we have to just take it one practice at a time and really focus on what we're doing. And make sure that we're doing a good job with game planning and making sure we're putting our best foot forward and going from there. Not doing too much is a big key.
How do you expect this team to respond now with 2 weeks before Texas as a group?
Only positive. I mean, I think we responded positive after last week, and the things didn't go our way tonight, but it's just kind of how it goes. We came out strong, and I think the momentum was in our favor early, and guys came out and. We started fast, and that's really all you can ask for. But like I said, the ball bounced our way a couple times after that, and it's just kind of the way it goes.
I think now, Kyle, the question is out there with this game against Texas in 2 weeks being nearly a must-win to get to a bowl game at home in Stillwater. Will the fans come? Will we see the people there last home game for this team this year? Will they be there? Will they turn out for this team?
I think it will. It's the last game of the season, so it's really the last chance for those home fans to see this crowd. But the trend it's alarming at this point. This is the third straight game where OSU has scored less than 20 points. You got to go all the way back to Les Miles' first year in 2001, the last time that happened, and that OSU team finished 4-7. And at this point in the year, it's looking like that could very well happen again. So a lot to be proved in that amount of time, and obviously we've seen the struggles that Texas has had in recent weeks, so you figure it's at least a little bit more of a favorable matchup for OSU, but certainly not a walk in the park.
Definitely not. Texas having some success on defense, but they also allowed 45 points by Iowa State. So we know that they can be vulnerable at times as well. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.